What's up, peeps? Welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime, have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I am your host, Notorious, and joining me today is Shaun.
I'm an insomniac.
No.
I am not.
I am too, but I know when to be reasonable about it.
I'm just judging y'all.
Fuck you and your normal sleep schedule.
On today's episode, we're swapping bodies in Your Name, Makoto Shinkai's critically acclaimed blockbuster success that hit Japanese theaters July 3rd, 2016. Animation production by Comics Wave Films with the music by the band Radwimps. It was written and directed by Makoto Shinkai. It's licensed in the US by Crunchyroll and in the UK by Anime Limited. You can find it on most home video formats and it is available to rent or buy on most digital platforms. Then we're finding our best match in Oshi as Aqua joins the cast of a reality dating show. Once again, check out episode 26 of the podcast for the bulk of the production information. Episode 5 was directed by Sungmin Kim, episode 6 by Kuniyasu Nishina, episode 7 by Yasuhiro Ire, and episode 8 by Daisuke Hiromaki. All episodes were written by Jun Tanaka. As of recording, all 11 episodes of season 1 are available to stream on High Dive, with season 2 announced to be in production.
Ooh.
Yeah!
Got more coming.
Yup.
Hell yeah.
That was a foregone conclusion, I think, that it would get a second season.
But it's nice to get confirmation.
It is nice to get confirmation. I love that as it got closer to the end of season 1, like the My Anime List forums was just constantly season 2.
Season 2 when?
Are we getting season 2?
Season 2.
Will there be season 2?
Excuse me.
It's
Season
like,
2 when?
wow. I mean, we're kind of it's obvious we're gonna get it. It's just wait till episode 11. That's how they do it. It's last episode.
Yeah.
We're getting season 2.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah.
They're like episode 2. They're like, so, season 2?
Yeah, exactly.
My God, you don't even know if you like it yet.
Okay, so me and Melina both watched Your Name first, so
Like normal people.
You're outnumbered
I'm
again.
outvoted.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate democracy.
So let's start with it. There's becoming a trend, right, where if me and Shaun really like a movie, we're both concerned that you're gonna fucking hate it because it's
I want to state you're more concerned than I am.
I'm not.
I'm a little concerned. He's very concerned.
I'm very concerned because we're now in the territory of one of my favorite movies of all time, and I could take the criticism because I get why people might not like it, or maybe it's overrated and stuff like that. That's fair enough. But it's becoming a trend that, like, if we really like something, there is a high probability that you just do not like it.
I just seem so edgy. I'm like, you like it? I don't.
I don't think
You
it's
gotta go beyond,
Yeah.
like, against the grain.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly,
not
we
necessarily
need
that you're
something
edgy.
interesting.
You just seem really fucking hard to impress.
Well, this movie impressed me, so.
So yeah.
Okay, so I want to
Yeah.
know your thoughts first. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Like, I think it starts very well. It definitely was building to a point where, like, they either pull this off or they really fucking don't. Because it's very trippy.
Yeah,
And-
that's one way of putting it.
Like, you really need to, like, pay attention to know, okay, so this time, and, okay, I think I get it, because he is in the future, but because of the comet?
I mean, you don't really need to understand that until, like, over halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
at that point you can just sort of think of it as it's magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think it pulled it off. Well, there's some moments where it drags a tiny bit, I'd say. But overall, I actually liked it. And it's visually very nice.
Yeah, this was where, like, Shinkai style, like, codified, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was the first one. Like, I remember got to see Weathering with You, his next movie, when it came out at Scotland Loves Anime, and it was introduced by a guy called Dr. Jonathan Clements, who's like an expert in anime and stuff like that, and he does all the introductions for the festival. And he's like, Your Name was like where Shinkai was no longer just making a 40-minute think piece, a music video, or a half-baked movie, and suddenly all the things have been put together, and I'm like, did you just call this a half-baked movie?
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Or like a 3-episode, like, storyline, because that's kind of what 5 centimeters per second was. So it's like where all the pieces had kind of come together, and, like, thankfully I think it stuck the landing.
Yeah, I agree,
I think
heavy
so,
agree.
Yeah.
This was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Because it starts off a bit as you're like, oh, classic coming of age with like body
yeah.
swaps, female, males. We get to go to puberty together.
Yeah.
Woo. And
Guy wakes up as girl, you can imagine the first thing he does.
Yep.
yeah, and they make sure you fucking know
And it becomes
Yeah.
a thing throughout.
throughout the full fucking.
Yeah.
To be
You think he'd
fair,
stop after the first time.
to be fair, the first time she wakes up as him, she does have a similar reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense the first time.
Yeah.
It's every
Like-
time afterwards.
Yeah. No. For Taki, waking up as Mitsuha and doing that every time.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go, every time.
Every time.
First time, okay, weird, whatever.
One time he literally says, I better not, just for her sake. And then
That
it
was-
smash cuts to him just grab.
I love when, like, he drinks the Kuch Kamizaki. I know we're jumping really far ahead in the movie.
Yeah, that's
but
the
he
end of the
drinks
movie.
the Kuch Kamizaki and becomes Mitsuha on, like, the last day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just in fucking tears that it worked. And the sister walks into the room as he's in tears, hands on chest, just full.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is
Really?
really.
If
I
anyone
think
walked
we've
into
been
my
a
room
fish
at that
friend.
moment, I don't know how I'd explain this.
Well, you have to imagine you'd be a girl.
No, I mean like when I'm watching the movie. I don't mean in the movie.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I think about like showing my parents this movie, and then I watch it again, and I'm like, there's some things I just don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
to be there for
No.
that.
No, because then you have the silence and the awkward parent comments like, huh. Like, I don't know how to respond to ma.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Huh.
indeed. Huh.
Because overall, like the romance of the movie is very sweet, very
Yeah, yeah.
wholesome.
Yeah. Also subtle, I'd say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I could have fully expected this movie to not go on like a romance angle.
Yeah.
It was nice
Yeah.
that they did.
Uh-huh.
But like I would have been satisfied if they didn't eat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the ending doesn't necessarily go down the tropey romance route.
No.
It's
No,
very
exactly.
open-ended. They just meet again, and we're kind of left
Yeah.
to wonder what happened.
Which I think is good. A good way to
Oh,
end
yeah,
it,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think it was very... I mean, if they did say, like, oh, I love you, and...
Yeah.
But, you know, they didn't interact necessarily
No.
more than live each other's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most they interact is like right at the end when it's
Yeah.
like sort of.
I think you can put that, interaction on the, like, mountain down to hormones, I think. That sort of, like... There's this mysterious person who you've been swapping places with.
Yeah,
You're seeing parts of their lives, how people think of them, and you're seeing them reflected in the mirror when you look at them. And so I can see being, young, dumb teenager and sort of ending up in that headspace
Yeah.
at that point in time. And then, we jump forward like
5 years.
5 years. And like when they meet again, they only have that vague sort of sense that they knew each
Like,
other. So it
yeah.
never really says, oh, they're still in love. That would be a bit,
Yeah, like
Over
they
the
don't
mark, I think.
really remember.
yeah.
It's more like just sort of they feel it, they sense it.
Yeah, they've always been searching for something, as the movie says.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's overall... It really started off as, classic coming of age.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. And then it slowly, I think... The first time she says, I wish I was a boy in Tokyo. I'm like,
That's
well...
such a good transition. Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. And then just wakes up as boy in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh.
Literally, the moment she said that, I was like, oh, I feel like we're about to smash cut to our second POV. Let's do this.
Exactly.
because you have that brief bit at the beginning where Taki wakes up as Mitsuha.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Mitsuha as normal.
Yeah.
And then we get, I want to be a boy in Tokyo. And then suddenly she's a boy in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're kind of left without Taki's perspective on it
Yeah.
for a while, which is...
Yeah, I think it starts well with her kind of dealing with, like, what happened yesterday? They were all
Yeah.
like, you were insane.
Yeah.
You
It's
were
like-
weird.
I
like,
think that
what
builds a better
happened?
sense of mystery.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I think if it starts just with them switching places, you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I
It's
think
very much, okay, let's go through the motions. And this kind of
Uh-huh.
leaves you wondering, like, what?
It's
Huh?
happening.
But
Yeah, I think structurally that would have been very messy to deal with, constantly
Yeah.
jumping back and forth between the two of them. And I like when sort of they fully realize what's happening as we get this sort of dual split screen perspective of it. I think that works out better than, okay, so we're Mitsuha, now we're Mitsuha as Taki, now we're Taki as Mitsuha, and up
Yeah.
until Comet.
yeah, up until Majora's Mask.
Which you're watching and you're like, okay, this is all really nice, and then suddenly you get the fucking sound design of
Whoa,
the
whoa,
comet
whoa, whoa.
just
Yeah.
hitting, and the movie is very kind of like sound design wise, like even.
Oh,
know,
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
There's
Absolutely.
not a lot
Yeah.
going on. There's voice, there's music, there's maybe some background noise, and then suddenly you have my room fucking shaking because the sound bar is emitting the most bass that it's ever emitted in its life as the comet impacts.
Yeah.
Yeah. What sound did they use? Like a gong? type of
That
noise?
was I think when the first time when it cuts from Mitsuha to Taki and she's like dead, yeah, it uses like a gong to I
Yeah.
think to signify that they've like been separated.
Yeah, like the sort of string that's attaching them sort of been cut.
Yeah, and then later when we look back to that perspective and they save the town, we see the full like impact, and I had to fucking scramble for the remote.
Stop!
Oh my god, that's fucking loud.
Yeah, like it was mixed with that was 100% intentional, I'm assuming.
yeah.
But still. Ah!
Yeah. I'd love to have seen that in the theater and just been like,
yeah.
holy fuck.
Was it, ah!
Make it stop.
Would be hilarious if they did like, oh, this keeps happening every day. I'm like, no.
At that point, it's just Groundhog Day.
Yeah. This is the thing. I've seen this movie so many times. I genuinely don't know what to say about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to talk about, like, because I feel like the movie says like what it wants to say just sort of perfectly while you're watching it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really feel like there's any more you really need to add to it.
There is one thing I noticed this time round compared to all the other fucking times I've watched it. So when Taki drinks the Kuchi Kamizaki and wakes up as Mitsuha in the second half of the movie, and he speaks to the Gran, she mentions, that she and Mitsuha's mum had the same
Yeah.
body swapping thing. Fast forward slightly to when Taki as Mitsuha goes and confronts the dad. The dad realizes that something's wrong, and what I picked up is, and I think it happens across both the dub and the sub version, is that he doesn't say you're not acting like yourself, he doesn't say you're not acting like my daughter, blah blah blah. He very directly unencumbered by other things says just who are you,
Blatantly asks.
Yeah.
who-
Yeah. I mean,
This
he
says-
does say it's like, oh, you're going crazy, like this side of the family as
yeah,
well.
but it's when she grabs him.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
like it becomes like a full confrontation.
Yeah, he just directly asks, "Who are you?" And that I was like, "Oh my god, was he with the mum when she
That's
was
what I thought,
experiencing?"
like, the moment he said
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because out of all the other times I've watched the movie, I've just usually brushed it off as like, "Oh, you know how your daughter would react," and
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
then the relationship's a bit fucked anyway.
Yeah, it could be a question of you've changed so much. Who
Yeah,
are you?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But when this time I was watching it, that scene with the Gran stuck in my mind, and then there was that, and I was like,
I love a good, after several watches.
Yes.
Makes sense. But a part that I particularly liked is when Taki, he kind of started having memories as like, I need to find this place because we're disconnected. What happened to
Yeah.
her? I mean, he's pretty sure something happened.
Yeah.
And he just gets obsessed with his town.
Yes.
And his friend's like, well, it's fucking weird, but I guess.
Yeah, like they go fully along
They
with
go
it.
along
Yeah.
with it.
They're like, I feel, to me, it felt very much like I don't think he's okay, so let's just kind of, like, I was like, yeah, let's go look for this town.
At some point, I was
yeah.
expecting like the crush like lady to like just sort of call like psychiatrists on him at some point.
Okudera,
Yeah.
Yeah, because like she's not known him that long.
They've worked together.
I
for
know,
a
but
while.
like they've only really started like interacting with each other for like a couple weeks. It feels like because they've only just been
in the
going.
sense of the movie time, yeah, they had a work relationship and they had a mutual crush.
I never really
Yeah.
took it as like it being that like more than just sort of like occasionally interacting at work. but
No,
before then-
it's meant to be set up that they have like a mutual
Okay.
thing. It's
Okay.
just that Taki through I'll be honest, the age difference is what I'm gonna assume because I'm pretty sure she is.
Yeah, she seems older.
She's 21 or
Yeah.
2, and he is 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I also
you know.
noticed, I was like, why?
To be fair, it does sort of set up the fact that Taki's kind of an older woman because that means Mitsuha. They're both 17 when they're swapping,
Yeah,
but when they meet, that means Mitsuha's like 3 years older than him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So when he's like 20, I think, or 22 at the end of the movie, she
Yeah.
would have been 25.
I legit made that comment as I was watching it with Manuel. I just said, well, they did establish he likes older women.
Yeah,
so
you see, it was built up to that.
that was the whole movie. It's like, oh, I just wanted to say he liked older women. This was the best way I imagined I could do it.
Yeah.
Like, comma, so it's 3 years different.
Subtle.
So,
yeah. But Taki goes on this whole journey to find this town that he remembers vaguely.
Then has a fucking drug trip at the end.
Basically, yeah.
That part was animated beautifully. I
Oh,
will say.
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Love that part.
It was like chalk type of.
Yeah, like a sort of pastel kind of
It
drawing.
was very odd, but in like a way where you're like, ooh. Ooh. But it did feel a bit predictable, them stopping at a ramen shop and then him being like, oh, that's the town.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just going to stop with
So
ramen
Yeah,
shop.
why the fuck? Why ramen? That's so
Ramen.
weird. Oh
It's
my
Japan
god.
ramen.
And like as soon as they stopped and I saw like some characters like 100% one's gonna recognize it.
To be fair, they were close at least.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that someone neirby would recognize
Yeah.
it. Because I think the owner grew up in Itamori, I think
Yeah,
he said.
yeah.
Yeah. I can... it is sort of predictable, but I do sort of get it. They came very close to the goal,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even if they went there, I don't think they would have recognized that that's the town without
Yeah.
someone else.
That's someone pointing it out.
He'd
Yeah.
recognize a school. But you know, he'd have to get there.
Yeah, he'd have to get there.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
And probably all the fucking roadblocks would be
Stop 'em.
a nice indication of...
The fuck?
Yeah.
Something's amiss here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I love that it's just played off. It's like, you don't remember 3 years ago when like 2,000 people died? It's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, oh my god, I totally forgot about that. Huh.
Oh yeah, that thing.
To be fair, in the grand scheme, I say that they still haven't let go of Fukushima. So I was about to say I could sort of get it.
The way that sentence started, I thought, in the grand scheme of things, we're all just specks of dust. in
No, I was
space.
gonna say in the grand scheme of things, it's one of those things that like you'd see on the news and then you would sort of not brush off, but you would
You'd
maybe
be like, okay.
it'd be a thing for 2 months and then
Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
forget about it.
you'd forget about it. And then I'm like, they really haven't forgotten about Fukushima.
No.
Different caliber of disaster I want to mention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get that out there right now,
yeah.
please.
Not like not an apples to apples comparison.
We
by
are
any
not
means.
downplaying real
No,
disasters
no,
for the
no,
love of God.
No. I love the music, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Very
It,
nice.
it works very well. I think it all feels very like connected, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make you fit the story with
Yeah.
the choice of words. But you know, it feels like it works together very well.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you're like, the music feels a bit too,
Yeah.
I don't want to say too high effort
Uh-huh.
or something, or like too grand, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
for
yeah.
what's happening. But it was all, because I like when it's subtle to a point where like, I didn't notice how much this music is changing the scene and
Yeah.
like, love that.
I think that's
Love
the like big thing of the soundtrack for me is that it can go from it's there to it's just sort of guiding you along under the surface.
you
You
don't
may
even
not
notice it.
necessarily notice it. Yeah.
Because that's what happened with, like, you mentioned this last night, the ending part when, like,
All the big from
like
when
the sort of climax.
Yeah.
Where, like, she's
Yeah.
running through, like, the town, trying to, like,
Uh-huh.
get to, like, her dad and stuff. That entire sequence is basically, like, in the background, you've got this, like, continuous, like, track
Uh-huh.
going on. I didn't even notice until you pointed it out,
No,
I'll
no,
be
no.
honest.
So you have from the moment they separate and she starts running to town, you have the song Sparkle playing, and you get to the point where she's like, I can't remember where the lyrics cut out, but eventually the lyrics cut out and there's background music. And first time you watch it, it's just background music. But then you notice that when she falls from the bike and looks at her hand and the lyrics kick back in, it's the same song. you're just suddenly in the bridge, and then it goes back into the chorus, and you're back into the full song. And I always love that fucking moment so much.
It's a good moment because it's the first time you're like, did she just fucking die?
that
be a
scene,
shitty way to die.
every fucking time takes me out because it's followed up by a really sweet emotional moment. But my God, when she falls,
rolls.
She falls.
She doesn't just roll; she bounces.
Yeah, like she's gonna have to fix her jaw after that.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
She recoiled off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it bounce, roll.
And then she has a healing factor because she gets up and she's completely fine.
Yeah, I'm like, there should at least be an, oh, fuck.
Yes. She goes through a James Bond stunt, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. It was almost laughable, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're saying there, I don't want her to die, but if this is how she dies, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
It'd be kind of funny.
yeah.
Like, all this effort for it to save her.
Like everybody else is like on the death list, is just be like died from coma, and then it's just her died by falling on the ground.
At least no one would know.
Yeah.
That's the dying thought. Well, you know.
I'm
No
dying
one-
like
Everyone's
this.
dying anyway. I'm just going to be another victim of this.
Now it is Groundhog Day. No one's gonna know. It's fine.
Thing is, Taki wouldn't even know. He would just forget that the whole thing happened. He'd
Yeah.
wake up in a mountain and go, what? Huh?
The fuck?
She could have gotten away with it.
She could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, definitely could have. Wow. The opportunities.
Oh.
I love the moment because it's a classic moment you see in every coming of age. The children / teenagers do something and the adults are like, who is doing this? Who is doing the
Find
broadcast?
The light domestic terrorism plot.
I love the like domestic terrorism
Like,
plot. It comes so out of nowhere.
I mean, at some point, like the friend, what's his name?
I don't know.
Teshi.
But
Tashi. He talks to his dad. He's like, we need to get the explosives. I'm like, oh no. Something's gonna be blown up in this movie.
That's like they brought up bombs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was watching it and like at that point I was so again I've seen this movie so many times and I stuck on the English dub and I was just like changing my sheets and like sorting something with my bed, so I'm like barely paying attention, and you know there's that scene where they're in Teshi's dad's like house and Mitsuha's dad's there and he's like, you know, basically committing gerrymandering and
As politicians do.
yeah,
Yes.
light bit of election fraud, you know.
You know, he
Just a
senses corruption.
Yeah, and then Teshi's dad just walks in and he's like, "You're gonna be on site. We're using explosives." And I'm like,
What
"This
an
like
odd
really
thing to
is just the
say.
most
Yeah.
heavy-handed bit of foreshadowing." I just stopped dead and turned around and was like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, thanks, Dad. This will be important for later. Looks directly in camera.
Don't forget plot device later. You gotta get ready for plot device later. Okay, I'll get ready for plot device later.
They were too willing to just be like, yeah, we'll blow it up.
Yeah,
Because their friend, who has been going insane every few days,
Yeah.
is suddenly like, everyone's dying. And they're like, yep.
and she's clearly
Guess.
in one of her mental break
Yes.
stages.
Could have just replaced him with the guy in like CDI Zelda that just goes bombs. Would have served the same function.
Yeah, they're like, I get they're teenagers, but they're too quick to be like, well, you know, if you say everyone's dying, okay, let's just
Yeah.
blow up a building.
Even
One.
the Grand was like, "I don't know about that one, Chief."
Yeah,
I've-
and she
I've been a-
believes in the body swap thing.
Yeah.
I've witnessed this stuff, but you know, that's a bit fucking far.
She's just, I mean, it's technically talky. He's like, everyone has to get out. You have to go. And they're like, fucking weirdo.
You know, a reasonable reaction.
Yeah.
If someone ran up to you, we're all gonna die. I'm like, fucking junkie.
Someone didn't take their meds today.
Or did.
Or did
Or
too
did.
many meds.
Too many.
But I love the, you know, you're in broadcasting club. You
You gotta
the
do it.
announcements.
What?
Well, what a coincidence.
Yes.
It's almost perfect, you know.
I was expecting to say you go to one class.
Yeah.
I went to orientation
Yeah.
and now suddenly.
I tried it out once and you're pinning it on me.
Also, if she's in the what they're in like a room, like a club room, during that whole like sequence, and I'm like, what fucking club is using this room that they can just come in and freely use it? It's got like a Sega Genesis, a PS1, a Famicom, all this shit, and I'm like, who's just leaving that shit there?
One word. Explosives.
Yeah.
Blow up the door. No one's gonna stop you.
Bombs.
Teshy's just walked up with like a small piece of Semtex and just.
He's like,
Okay.
oh, I think it's locked. He's like, I'll find a key. No.
Becomes fucking Demo Man from TF2.
He's like, no, I know where the keys are. No, don't worry about it. We don't have the time. It's like,
But the keys are over there, but I have a bomb.
I've already lit it now. You're too late.
Bomb.
I love that every time I watch it when Saya like comes back from like getting just like sweets and stuff. She puts her foot to the door and I'm like, why is she gonna kick it open? And then it cuts to the other side where like, you know, she slides it open and I'm like, Japan, yeah, sliding doors.
Yeah.
No practicality whatsoever, but there we go.
Yeah, there were a lot of
look
sliding door shots. I noticed.
Yeah, yeah, there were a lot.
Yeah.
I was just watching it. Oh, there's probably some symbolism with this.
I think it's at least from the amount of times I've watched the movie, I think it's just always a nice way of like transitioning from one shot to another.
It is, yeah.
I don't think there's any symbolism in it.
You know, when you have a movie that's kind of, you know, using things to be like, oh, the comet symbolizes this. I'm like, the door.
No, it's just scene transitions.
Nah, it's a good transition. I'll give him that.
There is that one, it's like on the train, like the door opening is sort of used like that. Like you constantly see it like one way.
Oh,
like
that's that's a different one though.
I know
I'd
it's
say.
a different one, but like it's similar enough, I think.
Yeah, but again, it's
To sort of go into this, to sort of link it to this conversation is what I'm trying to do.
different context though.
I know. But I'm never going to be able to bring it up unless I bring it up now, so you know.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
That's more that we always link back to those scenes of the trains and stuff because I think Shinkai is obsessed with
He really does.
trains and rain as well.
There's nice train shots though.
Oh yeah, I mean everything in this movie is just like
He likes things that end in ain, train, rain, emotional pain.
no pain. I mean the end. I love the ending sequence where it's like you're seeing the city across like different, you know, like obviously the passage of time and stuff, and you just see it like snowing in Tokyo, and I was like, that's really nice.
I could have that as a wallpaper background.
I have so many shots of this movie. Like I just ran it through like a script I have on my PC every single second, and just like took out like 200-300 shots, and my Fire Stick it just like rotates between that, Weathering with You, Ghost in the Shell, and like Lupin, I think.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, big wallpaper material.
I mean, understandable.
It's a wallpaper movie.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's not to degrade the quality.
No,
it's
it's almost like a testament to like you could take any single shot from that film, any frame, and it's whole 24 frames per second, and you've got a great, you know, moment. You know, there's probably some smears in there that would look a bit funny. I need to go through them.
Are we going to do that in lunch break?
No, that'd take too long. Got to remember, it went through like every single second of the movie, and it's an hour and 42 minutes long.
I think I remember when you were doing that.
Yeah, probably.
I think you talked about it in like our Discord server or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say.
I'm trying to think if I had some thoughts, but they are losing me. I mean, I want to talk about the fact that Mitsui? What's her name? Mitsuha. That's it. I watched it 2 days ago, okay? And
I mean, there's a god called Masubu or something like that in the movie.
Masubi.
Masubu. Oh, that's Masubi.
Manuel looked at me, what's her name again? And I swear to God, he said, Mitsubishi?
Mitsubishi.
I'm calling him out.
Mitsubishi. Jesus Christ. Ah yes, the beloved main character, the Mitsubishi Explorer 2020 model.
This is why I just avoid saying the names now. I just say the girl or the guy.
Like, she is getting his love life in order.
Oh, for sure.
She's nailing this game.
She's cleaning up all of his fuck ups right here.
Yeah.
And then is so eager to go on the date.
Yeah.
She goes to fucking Tokyo.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to go on this date. Fuck him.
Okay.
She should have planned better, you know? It's like, okay, we switch bodies every 3 days.
I gotta feel bad for Taki, by the way. His crush likes when he's not himself.
Yeah. You've been so nice lately. He's like, oh, no.
I like you better the other way. That's fucking great.
Yeah. So,
It does make you question because Okudera says, "Oh, you're a bit more feminine," and then Mitsuha is like, "I wanted to go on the date," and I'm like, "Shouldn't they two have in the future like reconnected?" Maybe.
They'd be the same-ish age.
Yeah, they would be actually.
The film's open enough. We can interpret it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're saying happened. I like that more.
Yeah. Write your fanfics.
And Taki's like, well, I kind of expected this.
Hey,
if I have
you can
to be
still
honest.
gain a lifelong friend.
I think she gets with his friend with the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, she's pregnant when they meet again.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if she was pregnant or if it was just like the way like the shot was. It was like
Nah,
her bag
she's
or something.
pregnant.
Okay, she's pregnant. Cool. I thought there was like another shot where it was like, oh, she's not pregnant.
I'm sure he comments on it.
I must have missed that.
Well, you did watch it very late. So.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I was still gripped throughout the whole thing. I wasn't tired. I'm an insomniac.
But yeah, very, very sweet
Yes.
overall. Very
Great
sweet.
movie.
Yeah.
And I should say, obviously, because we've covered this before, we're going to be covering Weathering with You next, along with the last few episodes of Oshi no Ko. That's going to be not the next episode, because that's going to be, chatting about losing our fucking sanity. But the next regularly scheduled structured episode.
Yeah.
It's
Where
going
we
to be
still have brain cells.
When we
Yeah.
talk about stuff of value.
stuff of value. Yeah, we're going to be doing Weathering with You, which I've tried to not say anything. Like, at this point, I've reached where, like, when we're picking stuff, it's like I try and pass no comment
I've noticed.
Yeah.
whatsoever in what we're picking, whether I like it, dislike it, because I want you to come in.
You don't want to taint our opinions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want to hype something up, because I think if I had praised, I mean, I always praised Your Name, but
Believe me, I'm aware.
Oh, I know you're aware. You will come to why you know. But I kind of kept my mouth shut, because I was like, I don't want to overhype it.
No. But it is like, I've known the title. I haven't had no idea what it was about.
It
but
was-
people said it was very good.
The absolute, like, you could not move in the UK during 2017 without seeing a poster for this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, my main thing here was Weathering with You. I think the best way I can describe it, and I'm only saying this just so we don't come in and it's like,
Well.
they're sort of two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
So different stories, different settings, but there's a lot of similar themes going on.
Okay.
And that's just
Nice.
because if you pick many Japanese directors and were to define them as auteurs, Shinkai is without a doubt an auteur.
Okay.
So these are like the same, well, not the same, but like if you were to flip a coin, it's like the heads to the tails.
Almost
type
like a
thing.
sort of different interpretation from the way you're describing it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Like same elements, different way of like getting them out.
I'm sure I've said somewhere to someone a way more eloquent explanation of this at some point, but I just cannot. It's escaping me. And
I appreciate a simplified version.
Yeah. Brain to
There's a coin, two sides. It's like,
Yeah.
got it.
It's different,
Got
but
it.
also same.
It's still the same coin.
But still same.
It's almost like Weathering with You is like maybe a slightly more darker version than what happens in Your Name. Sorry, it's like
And that's the one where everyone dies at one point.
yeah,
It's just the exact same story as no, I didn't make it.
Your Name is like
More hopeful.
romantically optimistic,
Yeah.
and then Weathering with You is, well, it's a very clear message on something.
Okay.
So
Can't wait to
yeah,
learn
it's hard
to tell
their
from the title.
message.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting because some of the things in the end of Weathering with You during the last sequences, I'm like, not Weathering with You, Your Name. I keep fucking getting the titles
You
wrong.
see, that's how similar they are.
Yeah, like the final sort of sequences of Your Name, I was like, I think Shinkai was already writing Weathering with You, because some of these lines are a bit too
Too close.
relevant to what happens in that movie.
We got some pages mixed up.
I love an
it's-
auteur that has like, you know, kind of intertwined
Yeah.
stories almost.
Because while it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, the films are technically set in the same universe. So like,
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it, but you'll know why.
Okay, we'll see. It just starts. Remember the creator.
So there was a comet once.
Yeah. Anyway, that's your name. I think we've kind of said, unless anyone has any extra thoughts
Nah, I
they
can't
want to
think of
throw out
anything
there.
else I want to say.
So scores. Let's go there.
Given how much I praised the movie, this might sound a little low, but 8 out of 10.
Fair enough.
I think is good for me.
I think I'd also say 8, actually. Yeah. I was like 7.5, but no, 8 feels good.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to give mine. I think everyone can just guess.
Perfect.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched it like
As many times.
as many times.
Yeah, you wouldn't be as obsessed with it if you didn't love it.
No.
Yeah.
And my obsession, and you know this because you've basically been friends with me the entire time. I have an extensive collection of this on home video.
You have a shrine.
Not really.
You described it as a shrine once.
At one point, yes, but everything's been moved around, so it's no longer there.
I'm saying that because I remember you talking about it, and I looked back in like the messages, and at one point you're like, I basically have a shrine now.
Yeah, because like everything used to be like on one shelf, whereas now everything's all scattered about. So it's
And if I remember, it was like the top shelf.
yeah, basically.
Nice.
So I have like at least 7 or 8 copies of this.
It's like Ghost in the Shell with you as well.
Ghost in the Shell's less.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive given
This
how
is-
much I know you own Ghost in the
Yeah,
Shell. in So
this
many
is,
different formats.
This is the one I own like the most, I think, because I have the UK. So on all the UK versions, I have the standard edition, the steelbook, the original deluxe edition, the 4K special edition that came out. Then I have the Japanese standard edition and the Japanese collector's edition. I'm sure there's more than that though,
Yeah.
because that's
6.
That's 6.
And you described it as like 8.
It's like 8, so I must be missing 2 that I own.
Tune in next time, you'll own a fan-made VHS.
I just don't.
UMD.
The US versions are the only ones I don't have yet.
Yet.
Yeah,
Soon.
I plan to get them because they are slightly different. So
He's gone
nice.
this far. He's
Yeah,
got to go
you
all
might
the way.
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Your name's basically the same. I'm just missing the Japanese collector's set.
Weathering with you.
Weather in the queue.
Weathering
You
with
said your name again.
Fuck me. It's only gonna get worse when Suzume comes out. Anyway, so we'll move on to Oshinoko. So we're in the Jesus Christ, that's scary, man.
I love this movie.
Not
Not this
movie?
Sean
Show.
is smiling very creepily.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Jesus. So this is the reality dating arc, essentially.
Yeah. We watched. Should we say which episode?
Oh,
it was,
episodes.
or-
It says in the fucking title of that.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
episode
if you can't read for some reason,
yeah, and didn't listen to my
Oh, the intro.
introduction. Episodes 5 through 8. So that's the basically the entire the
Yeah, the entire
reality.
reality arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh
Well divided. Very well divided.
yeah. I have to give praise to the production staff for making it very easy for me to pick out the blocks of episodes
Yeah.
to watch.
Yep.
I did get to like the end of like episode 8, and I was like, wow, this really did feel like an arc.
Yeah, it's because it was.
It's almost because it actually.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You could sell this as like its own thing,
Yeah.
kind of.
So I don't actually know where to start. I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
I personally felt that Ruby kind of took a backseat a bit.
that's gonna happen for a while.
Yeah, I mean, she still, had her. I'm gonna start my idol group. You're joining whether you want to or not.
Yeah, the next arc's gonna focus on her a little bit more, but after that, it's like she takes a back seat for a
Yeah.
good chunk of time.
I think it's good to start with the most. What the actual fuck is happening?
Pigeon Man.
Pigeon.
Peon, yeah. I did not expect that voice to come out of him. That
Describe your thoughts. What did you expect?
Yeah,
Well, I
as
knew.
someone well versed in the manga.
So I knew he was coming.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I knew he was gonna appear. I remember him distinctly from the manga because he
I wonder why.
He seems like a hard to forget character.
keeps fucking showing up as well.
Oh,
holy-
joy.
We're
I
not
ex-
done with him.
Are we going to get a face reveal? I hope not.
No,
Please
no, no.
Yes!
No. I expected like if we cast our minds back to like Ghost in the Shell, I expected kind of like maybe Bato's voice.
Yeah.
That sort of deep, well kind of wisdomed person they just happen to shove on a
very-
fucking pigeon.
Yeah, a very masculine.
Yeah. That
would have been funnier.
That would have been funnier. Instead,
I disagree.
no, what we got was I can't even fucking describe that voice.
Imitate it.
I can't. I don't think it is within my range.
It's not in mine.
I don't want to. Imagine if a baby chicken had a voice. That's it. There you go. But
don't
he's
know
a
if
buff
You mean
man.
a chick?
Yeah, but chick in the context of Pinion sounds wrong.
Of what?
What's his name?
Peon.
Peon.
Pinion?
Yeah.
Where did you get Pinion from?
I don't know. Probably misreading his name.
I just said Peon.
Well, I don't have a good memory, so that's on me. But you
It's
know.
like 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
This is why I don't say the names
See,
anymore.
at least I try instead of
I tried
the
once.
girl. You
He
know
at
the girl.
least just mispronounces it. You weren't even close.
No, correct.
To be fair, this character I knew I was never going to get right, so I've just not bothered.
Smart.
He's Pigeon Man.
Pigeon
Yes.
Man, yeah.
I don't even think
boy.
he's a pigeon.
I don't know what he's supposed
I
to be.
genuinely don't know.
I said rubber ducky, maybe.
I'm not sure.
we're gonna get up the
I'm gonna
design.
look up his fucking wiki page.
Again, this was weird to explain when it popped up on the screen. And
It's-
Manuel was looking over, was like, "So
Has he been watching it with you? Because I know he watched the first episode.
he watched. He didn't watch 2, 3, and 4,
Okay.
so he's kind of out of the.
Not that he's lacking context for when this
Yeah,
guy
no,
shows up.
legit. I paused and was like, okay, so, she wants to have an idol group, and this is a YouTuber, or streamer. I'm not sure.
Apparently very popular.
And he's gonna dance with them, and they're gonna become more famous.
They make a point to say he's popular with kids, and that's...
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Japan is a bit different when it comes to like that sort of thing, though.
Yeah, I know.
I do not see a description of there's a muscular tan man with a cute bird mask. That's not helpful.
Is cute really the word?
It's so round.
Yeah,
It's so
this is the
round.
thing. So he shows up in the show and he opens the door and like it's
He just stands there.
He's just there.
this frame that we're seeing here.
Speedo
The
and
manga
bird mask. That's
did
it.
this with the shading and it's a bit creepier. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
It's very intimidating.
It is.
Where are his nipples?
Does he have?
Is that the
nipples in
first
there?
thing you're gonna
He
think of?
doesn't!
No.
I was just looking at it, I was like, something feels wrong. It feels
Too smooth.
fake.
Oh, the big bird man with the
I could forget the bird mask, but damn, no nips.
Nipless.
release the peon nip cut.
Free the nipple.
Oh my god.
You're gonna say something there.
I was like, just those.
Just those ones
That's the only
specifically.
ones
Just
I need.
those, yeah.
But
Uh,
I feel like he's a good way to kind of keep Ruby within the story.
yeah.
Because he sticks, you know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
finished the episode, I was like, okay, so it was about Aqua. And of course, it was also...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like they were like, oh yeah, if Ruby just kind of does stuff, it's not as interesting.
Yeah.
So we need to throw something in
We
to
need to
make it
give her
very
a plot.
memorable.
Yeah. 100,000. 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million,
What are you
100 million.
doing?
We're finding out how much he makes.
He makes
Oh, God.
£545,000 a year.
I love that whole interaction.
Sign me the fuck up.
No, I love the whole interaction. Canada's like Canada does the same
Canada.
thing. What did I say?
Canada.
I didn't say Canada.
You said Canada.
I didn't mean to say
She's
Canada.
like, he said Canada does.
Yeah, Canada
right.
does.
I said like you said Cana.
That's
Canada, sorry.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Kana has like the sort of same reaction where she's like, "This is so fucking dumb. I am so out."
Yeah.
And then he just says, "I make 100 million yen a year," and she's like, "I'm sorry, I ever doubted you.
You are a god.
Teach me your ways."
I will never understand.
And then immediately regrets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just dancing with bird mask. I was like, I don't want to say this is maybe not the best way to promote yourself.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, we do a prank. But it's all like talked about beforehand. I was like, yeah, I think we all know.
Yeah.
They've
No
been-
one thinks those are.
No.
We're not in a
Ruby
point.
did. Ruby did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very naive. Throughout the whole show, she's very naive.
Yeah.
I mean, she is how old was like 10, 12?
She was 12, but now she's
Yeah.
gotta mentally have grown because she's
Exactly.
they're 15.
I thought 17.
I was thinking.
If they're in their
16?
first year of high school, they'd be
I was thinking around 15.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 16 maybe.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love how Aqua still refers to her as little sister. I'm like, you are twins.
She's clearly the little sister.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah, in
it's-
terms of dynamics.
If someone asks, oh, I have a little sister, it's like, yeah, oh, how old is she? It's like, oh no, we're twins.
Then they'd meet her and okay.
yeah,
Yeah, fair
they'd
enough,
understand
fair
when they actually.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, she gives big little sister energy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
From the moment they were babies.
yeah, yeah.
She is the, you know.
You're the child.
Yeah.
The child. The little baby.
yeah, yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, reality show.
Reality show.
Yeah.
As hinted by in the last episode, it's like, if you want to know some more,
yeah.
you gotta do this. He does not know some more.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
All we know is they're going now for a little date.
Yes. Uh-huh.
It's creepy though. If you think about it, this kid shows up, like, I'd like to know some more. It's like, do the show. Okay. It's like, why do you want to know some more?
I think it's even creepier by the fact that he's like, I'll even tell you about the men she was with. I'm like, that's
No thanks.
nope.
Yeah.
Why do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, I dropped my pen. Panic button. Panic button. Panic button.
Because, like, from the point of view of this producer, this
Yeah.
kid, this, like, child actor is so obsessed.
Yeah. The thing that gets me is that no one fucking puts two and two together.
No.
With
No.
these very obviously
Very similar looking.
kids.
Yeah.
They even have the eye.
Not even like the girl who goes full Batman detective on eye and even like concocts.
She does mention though,
Yeah.
she does have the thing where she's like, oh, you know, I even came up with the thing that she had a kid, and Aqua's just like,
Yeah.
Huh.
She doesn't think to somehow connect the dots fully.
no,
Is what I'm
She's
saying.
like, oh, she has those eyes. Aqua also has that eye. Must just be
I can
coincidence.
get those eyes.
I can manifest the eyes.
Yeah.
She fucking
And
does.
she does.
She
That's
does.
a weird thing.
Like, it's the weirdest thing I saw. I was like, how the fuck? I was like, I guess in the rules of anime you can do that, but
From what I've picked up from the manga, it's more like she isn't directly like in real life.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she's not
Those-
literally doing
No,
that.
no.
It's just a way to like sort of
Yeah,
represent
yeah.
she's in eye mode.
But later on in the manga, I'm getting more and more confused as if the star things are actually something that people can see, because Ruby and Aqua start off with one, but later in the manga, and I won't explain the context of this, but both end up with two, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, Chief.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
that stands for how many men have killed in the war.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Fuck!
It's like, you know, they get a second one. I'm like, so it's like some rank?
Each point is a kill.
We'll get there in like season 3, I think.
Well, that's a while of fucking
Yeah,
away,
we're gonna
so-
forget about that, but that's why you're telling us now.
100%.
Yeah, unless you want to read the manga.
I mean, there's a chance I will do it. Yeah. So, you know,
Let me know what happens.
it's the same stuff, but in manga form.
Yeah, cool. I'll take it. So,
So yeah,
let's talk suicide.
yeah. I was wanting to chat about this.
It got a little more perfect blue.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Well,
yeah.
but not like in the same sort of,
No.
you know, stuff.
trippiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Akane has a bit of a fucky wucky.
A
little bit, and then the internet has
That's
a
what it
fucking
does.
meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And harasses a child.
Yup.
Yeah.
As the internet does.
Almost drives her to
Absolutely.
suicide.
Yup.
As you do.
And then Aqua just fucking
Suplexes her to safety.
yeah.
Yeah. And
It's a little
Cartoony.
mm,
Like specifically the saving part, not
Yeah.
not the everything else. That's way too
I-
real.
they clearly wrote themselves into a corner with this. They had a very serious issue that they've brought up, and they've just gone, "Oh, we don't know how to fucking deal with this."
Yeah, this is still sort of a light-hearted show at some
Yeah.
points. We gotta
Yeah.
snap back.
and
Snap
yeah,
the back.
yeah, he just sort of it's too easy a way to deal with that as a resolution.
Yeah.
it is too easily kind of, I don't want to say forgotten.
Oh,
Because
this
Resolved.
gets brought up never again.
what?
Fuck's sake.
This
how?
is like major trauma for a
This
17-year-old.
does not
Yeah.
ever get brought up
And
again.
they hug and they're like,
How?
it's all good. And I'm like, can we get some fucking therapy up in this bitch?
This genuinely never comes up again.
How?
I told you about this.
How? Why?
Like, I love to imagine, because I don't know where it's gonna go. They just stay friends, and at some point, someone's like, "Remember the time you tried to kill yourself?" I was like, no idea what you're
Don't
talking
know what you're
about.
talking about. I've left that
What?
character behind.
Never
Yeah.
in their relationship throughout the rest of the manga does it ever get brought up again.
It's like a life-defining moment, even
Oh,
to
yeah,
know
yeah,
someone in your
yeah.
circles.
You're never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
No, but no. Apparently, it's like, oh yeah, it happened.
Yeah. That's why I really don't like this whole part of that storyline, because
Yeah.
it very quickly gets to that point.
Oh yeah.
And then very quickly gets away from that point.
Yeah.
And it's too, oh, that happened. No, you can't do that with suicide, especially attempted suicide.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can understand it like escalating like that fast because it can surprise
Yeah,
you.
no,
Escalate
no,
that fast. I understood
Yeah.
that.
That
But, you
I
know,
can get.
resolving it as fast. That's
Yeah, that's where I...
new.
Yeah, there's too many conveniences in how they solve it, which is Aqua just fucking knows and then just happens to be there at the time.
Sort of goes a little ultra instinct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he you know, he saves her, he pulls her off, and it's
Teleports behind her. This is
Yeah.
very personnel, kid.
and then she's just like fine after it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
They make the video thing,
Yeah.
which they're like, I can do the music, I can do this. I'm like, this is a coming of age movie.
Which I find hilarious because it's constantly just Aqua going, I don't know how I'm going to pull some of this stuff together. And people going, you do realize we're in fucking show business, right?
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm literally a musician. It's like, oh, I need to find music.
The
Like,
guy who carries a guitar on his back all the time is a musician. Oh, I wonder what gave that away.
How am I supposed to self-promote this? And the streamer's like, dude, dude,
look at me.
that is most of my job.
Do you know how much I make?
Then you have the guy who is just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dance.
Nobu, I think.
Yeah.
He danced. That's
Oh,
it.
he's the dancer. That's right.
It's brought up once.
I was about
to
to,
be
ask,
fair,
what
I
did
think-
he do again?
I think he gets brought up like from here on out like a couple of times, and every time I'm like, who the fuck are you? Why are you here?
He's now the boyfriend of what's Yuki? Is it Yuki?
I don't fucking remember her name.
I mean,
think
she's
it's
not
Yuki.
very memorable either. I'll be honest.
She was for a bit. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of faded because someone tried to commit suicide.
Yeah, you know that's gonna overshadow.
Yeah.
Someone was a bit like, oh no, I can't say that.
Don't you fucking dare.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Not on this fucking show.
No.
That's for the other show.
Yeah. Save it for later.
Yeah, so this also introduced Memcho to the
Yep.
and she's gonna become part of Bikamachi next.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's just a reprise of a band that used to. Is it the same exact name?
How do you
Band?
It's the
idol
it's
group.
the idol group. It's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
she steals the name.
It's a
Yeah.
new
Eyes.
I-
generation.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, is it the exact same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Ruby, you have no creativity whatsoever.
I mean, she wanted to do that because,
Mother.
yeah, they have straight up mommy issues, both of them.
Well, why?
Oh, no
well,
shit!
Gee, I wonder why.
Aqua literally watched her die.
Yeah, and then it still has the hots for her when they're like, "So what kind of girl do you like?" It's like,
That's a
my
good point.
mother.
That's a good point.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, you see, that's a good observation. I'll give you that.
He just starts to describe, and they're like, "You mean this fucking girl?" Like, no.
Also, bank the fact that Memcho knows who I is
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
later. Keep that in mind because it's
I already did.
gonna make
Yes.
sense for later.
Oh no.
No. It's just a funny little thing that shows up.
Okay.
Comes to light later. Also keep in mind that when her age showed up on screen, it had a question mark next to it.
Ooh.
So, what?
She's 12.
I knew it.
What else is I gonna bring up? So we got Memcho joining.
Mommy
Rib-
issues.
Mommy issues.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yes, it straight up is.
I mean, it is. I know, but it's like saying that every time.
No, but this time it's legit. What kind of girl do you like? It's like he could have just said nice, sweet, intelligent. He's like, no, my mom, my mom.
I mean, he doesn't straight up say
He
my
doesn't.
mom. He just sort of describes her,
and to a point where someone can guess.
Yeah, but they don't know that's his mum.
Yeah.
He
We
does.
know, and he does.
Yeah.
He's
To be fair,
literally
But he also
seeing
sort of
her.
disassociates
But
as
to
well.
be fair, he does also ask the question of like, what is I to me? Am I her fan? Is she my mum? Is she something else?
Like his identity is like just sort of like self-identity is very like
he
fucked
has
right now.
two essentially running parallel.
Yeah.
And he's got to really figure that the fuck out.
I mean, he does say is like he's catching up. You know,
Yeah.
he's starting to get to a point where it's like, I'm finally a fucking adult again.
Yeah.
It's been long enough.
It's been too long.
He's like, oh wow, look at these test scores. It's like, you're asking me to do basic multiplications. I'm a doctor.
To be fair, he also is still a bit of a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How did he?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Dipshit.
It is also kind of implied he saves the girl because he wasn't saved when he got killed.
I got
As-
that, yeah.
He said
Yeah.
something about, I know what it's like to scream for help and no one hears you.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
think he's.
no, you died straight.
It's-
You done.
Yeah. So I think it's partly that and partly the fact that he couldn't save Sarina
Yeah.
as well. Dude's got trauma.
Dude's got trauma. For
Dude's
He
sure.
also couldn't save I.
Dude
Yeah,
has
I mean, he was a
issues.
baby.
Yeah, but he's gonna carry that.
Yeah. I mean, he should be able to tell himself, well, I did have a body the size of a cat.
But he
so-
can't. That's,
No, that's not
that's
how
what
trauma
psychological
works.
trauma does to you.
You're rationalizing the irrational here.
We're talking about a reincarnation show.
Rationalizing the irrational.
Exactly. It's just that kind of world. You gotta accept that.
No, I won't.
You got to remember that he was put through therapy, but just sort of went, don't
Nah.
need that.
Yeah. Because he can't really go to therapy and be like, so I used to be a doctor, then this girl who I took care of died, and then my favorite idol got into my hospital pregnant, and then me and the girl, we were reincarnated as her babies. So,
He's gonna walk into therapy and be like, so it all started when I was born the first time.
Stop the first time?
But the therapist is like, okay, you need to go to a different doctor.
he says, I'm just going to make a quick call. It's like, I've got another one. I don't know how this keeps happening.
That's twice now. What's wrong with this family?
The cult's back.
Yeah, I hope they're lying, but they really don't seem to be this time.
Stop.
Their eyes are so fucking weird.
It's like he's looking into my soul.
It's like, why is there like a galaxy? I thought eyes had like 3-4 colors. What the fuck?
I got to bring up eye and hair color in this series because
Yeah.
it's been
I was wondering when you were gonna get to
really
this.
throwing me off. But and you said you were fine with it for the most part.
Yeah.
Got to remember, I'm coming from the manga.
Yeah, I gotta remember that.
So
Yeah.
I'm like being translated from
Just black and white.
black or white, and that's it. That's all the hair colors you get. So when Akane showed up on screen, I was like, oh,
I would have expected her character-wise, it would have made sense for her to have black hair and the other Yuki to not have it, I'd say.
Yeah, because they look very similar in terms of design.
Yeah, because I would say Yuki is less timid, and I'd feel like just the black hair, very like normal looking, would have fit her better.
I think it's you have everyone's hair color being a bit strange, and I think some of that comes down to the choices of lighting and the way that they have it all interact. And then there's also the fact that I think pretty much almost everyone's hair color matches their eye color if they aren't a main character.
Like,
Usually,
notable exceptions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like if they're not a main character,
they're just very uniform.
Yeah, like
what was green hair girl?
Frill,
who
thankfully did not show up this time.
She scares you.
She does scare me. It's so fucking unnerving.
I think it's the fact I looked at like her design again. Her eyes are very bright green.
Yeah. we gotta revisit the horror of Frill shooting.
Yes, we're doing it now.
Great.
Okay, so it's
the eyes.
The eyes.
The lizard eyes.
That's what she looked like in the manga.
Oh, they gave her black hair.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a choice, black or white. They gave her very black.
They gave her kind of... It's this thing where, like, you have that. There is no argument and shading in that hair color, right?
No, yeah.
And then you have
It's
green, like when the light hits
Swamp
off.
This is a weird way to describe it. It's like you took a Bulbasaur and made him an anime girl.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not
See
wrong.
what you're going for.
Yeah.
Because that's also what... that's why Akane kind of threw me off.
I mean, like...
Just the top
To me,
one.
I'm also like, there's so many characters in this show that I understand giving them weird hair colors. Pure for recognizability. It helps.
Okay, why isn't it letting me, like, bring it up and then...
No.
Okay.
You cannot.
I cannot.
The wiki says no, you will do it in an awkward
That's not what she looks like in the manga.
Yeah, huh.
Her hair's a galaxy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is her hair a galaxy?
Female sign.
What is
Why can't I find a picture of her straight up just like in a manga panel?
not allowed?
Let me scroll past that so
not
you don't see the
allowed.
No, you are
spoilers.
banned.
La 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 la.
No.
No spoilers.
I can't hear anything.
Gallery?
No.
Gallery, there it is. Okay. Let's see if I can find one. Manga. There.
Oh yeah. That's
like,
sweet.
yeah, it's got like a little shading going on.
Yeah. I mean, if I was reading this, I would have thought blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what popped into my mind. Or it was like a kind of, because of their name, I had kind of red-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I was
my
actually going to say
mind-
like sort of that blonde, sort
Like
of
an
strawberry.
auburn, like strawberry blonde.
Or maybe like red highlights.
Yeah, but her eyes, like, not so much in the manga coloring, but in the anime, like, oh, now it works. For fuck's sake. Can I open that? No, I don't want to save it. Open it in new tab. Jesus.
Don't put it in your waifu folder.
Yeah, like her hair, her eyes do the exact same color transition as
Yeah.
her hair. But again, her hair only ever does that when the light's hitting it.
Yeah, because I don't remember it being that bright in actual.
It's
in the
only
actual
whenever
episodes.
like the light is in certain places and the way it interacts. I love the aesthetic of this show. I love the way it's designed. Dogo Kobo are doing like a really good job, but there's some like I
some
think
choices.
they're just going too hard on an aesthetic in some places, and I think that's what's throwing it a lot of it off.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see how much of it gets reworked for the home video version. I wouldn't say there's anything in particular that's happened so far that I'd be like, oh yeah, that's gonna get fixed.
You need to get fixed. Yeah.
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 There's not been anything flat or straight up like characters being off model or anything
Yeah.
like that.
There's nothing bad.
No.
It's just more like a subjective sort of choice. thing.
Yeah, some of it's just like, again, I think a lot of it just comes down to lighting. I think they've gone a bit hard on it in some places, and
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
everyone's hair color look a bit weird.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything else.
Yeah, we've sort of talked about a lot of
Yeah.
points. I think at this
Yeah. We've been recording for a decent amount
Yeah.
of
point.
time.
We're at our,
Wow.
like a normalish time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not giving our, ratings, but I think we can safely say we're all still enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Has some moments that we don't agree with how they handled the suicide plot, but it doesn't distract from the quality of the series, I'd
No.
say.
No,
It's
no,
just a
it's-
point of like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm still very excited to watch more.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a shame we only have 3 episodes left. Because it's where the stuff that season 2, maybe the first half of season 2 is going to deal with is like a really fucking good storyline, and it's where like a lot of
Shit
the
gets
ideas that
real.
get set up kind of start to get paid off.
I am so reading the manga.
So and it's the last time Akane is like actually
I am so
relevant
reading the manga
to the
after
story.
Because throughout that entire storyline, I'll just to let you know, Melina, I was like, we stand this girl.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't get it.
You were just like, I don't really like her that much, and I
No.
was like, you
How
motherfucker.
dare you?
But you know, after this and the story arc from the start, what will hopefully be the start. of
It'll
season
make more
2.
sense when I actually get most of her character
I think she just becomes a lot less
relevant.
and she's just still around.
Which is weird because they make her seem like she'd be very relevant at the end of that arc.
The thing is like she does become relevant again later, but by that point it's just sort of
It's
like
been too long.
Yeah. And it also becomes like an unnecessary competition at some point.
Oh, goody.
Love that.
Which, weirdly enough, if the first episode had included the flash forwards from the manga, I could have hinted towards, but it didn't, so
You
can't.
No. One more thing I gotta say, by the way, just to like get this out of the way, I love how Kana's so jealous throughout this entire arc.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's obvious.
She's straight up his head over heels for Aqua.
It's funny.
And
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
is, I'm pretty sure Aqua is head over heels for Kana too and just doesn't realize
Yeah,
it.
he's just too brain dead to really realize it.
His puberty body's like, yes, but his brain's like, no, that's a teenager. I'm not. No.
If he thought about it for 0.2 seconds, he'd go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
but he hasn't
Yeah.
really done that yet.
No, even when he does, like, he's just sort of like, I got murder on the mind.
Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
"I'll deal with that later."
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. At first, I gotta figure out who killed my mom, who was also like idol, yada yada. Fun story. But
Is this his internal monologue?
yeah.
I thought you said he had to figure out how to kill his mom, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
No, that's already been done.
That's already been done.
His trauma is it wasn't me,
It should have been me.
but not in the way you think. Anyway, I had to get that off.
Yeah.
So I just realized I hadn't mentioned it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's episodes 5 through 8, the reality dating arc. Next time we're going to be doing 9, 10, and 11, and that'll be season 1 done. And we're not season 2. We are not fucking watching it like this. It's not fun. Like,
No?
it's fun watching
I
it.
like it.
I don't like
Yeah.
breaking it down in episode chunks like this.
I do.
I don't think it's conducive to how a seasonal anime works.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll see what happens.
We'll
in the
see
future.
what happens. We have plenty
You're
of time.
gonna remember
Yeah.
by the time it starts airing, we can watch it either as it's airing or we can set it enough after the show airs
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah.
watch it in a reasonable
Yeah.
chunk or whatever. I don't know. Brain dying already.
Brain is
The schedule will
dying.
be optimized for us to do that, basically.
yeah,
Yes.
because this is a 4-month long thing,
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can. Yeah.
and it's happening after the show is done airing. So yeah, I have my reservations about how that's working. But I won't know until episode 2 comes out. So yeah, that's it. I think this is the
Yeah.
end of the episode.
Let's wrap it up now.
Oh yeah.
One thing I'm going to bring up. We have kind of never shown preference to any platform before, but I'm going to start plugging the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
we got to pick one and concentrate on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, everything else is an extension. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, well, not Stitcher, because Stitcher's going to be dead by the time this comes out. Apple Podcasts, wherever, you can find us on YouTube. That's sort of going to be our main platform if we're promoting anything.
It's our hub.
It's our hub.
Yeah.
It's going to be there. If you're listening to us on YouTube and you want to listen to us on the go, you can find a link down in the description where it'll take you to all of our wherever we are, or you can search us up in your favorite podcast platform.
All
If
the
we're
stuff you
not-
need.
Yes.
If we're not there, head over to Twitter at AnimeLaneCast. You can DM us and let us know which podcast platform you want us to be on. We'll add it on there.
If Twitter's still a thing.
If Twitter's still a thing, if Elon doesn't fucking sink that shit before this episode comes out, we're losing access to TweetDeck at the end of this month, so I don't know what
So
I'm going to be doing.
now
for
you know
scheduling
when this was
tweets.
recorded.
Maybe we'll switch to Meta's version.
No.
I would rather cut my dick off.
well, that seems,
Find us wherever
I think you stole that
find
from
us.
somewhere.
I have co-opted that line.
Yeah, you're just straight up copying that.
Yeah, every time. It's just a great.
It does get the feeling across.
So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please consider liking the video and subscribing. And if you want to keep up to date on new episodes, hit that bell icon and you'll get notified whenever a new episode comes out. New episodes come out every other Friday, 12 p.m. BST or GMT, depending on what fucking time zone we end up in.
Smash that motherfucking like
Smash
button.
that like button.
And
You can
hit
also
that little bell.
you can also
Little
check the
bell.
description for the playlist to all our episodes.
Rings the bell.
Little
Thank you for
bell.
listening. I'm gonna go before these guys make me kill them.
Bell.
Bell.
Goodbye.
Bell.